good afternoon, Patuxent High School. I'm Mr. Sloan with a couple announcements. First up, freshmen, also known as the class of 2024. Election results are in for your officers. Class President, Reese Crowley. Class Vice President, Ivy Blackwell. Class Secretary, Victoria McCreary. And Class Treasurer, Melvin Chang. Congratulations, class officers, and good luck ruling the school. Also, we have October Student and Faculty of the Month. This might take a minute, so buckle up. Freshman, Sheila Jefferson. Here's what a teacher had to say about Sheila. She received a 100 on the benchmark, and she works hard every day. Keep it up, Sheila. Sophomore, John Paul Jones. John has 100% in geometry, and he participates every day. Keep it up, John Paul. Junior, Haley Stebbing. Haley's a great kid and works really hard. She strives for greatness. Thank you, Haley. And we have two seniors on this list. Senior Matt Hutter. Matt challenges his math teacher every day, forcing Mr. Goodrich to extend his learning. He asks great questions and is quite the Spanish Inquisitionist. He's polite, completes all his work, and even tutors others in small groups. Keep up the good work, Matt. And our other senior is Senior Katie Mead. Katie strives for perfection in everything. She even asks for extra credit when her grade drops below 100%. She's polite, completes all her work, and she's also tutoring kids on the side. Good job, Katie. Our two faculty members for the month of October are Mrs. McShay. You've done so much this quarter with contacting kids. You go above and beyond every day for your students. Thank you from the math team. And Miss Cristado, thank you for all your hard work, keeping up the special education paperwork when it's even harder to track all of us down. Also, just helping in all the ways that you do is super helpful. Thank you from the math team. And finally, an announcement from my yearbook team. Ladies and gentlemen, we are still in need of more first week of school pictures. So if you have a picture of yourself in your new outfit out on the porch of a hacienda, the house, send it to us. If you have a picture of yourself making the commute from the bed to the laptop, send it to us. Teachers, we need your help too. What's your virtual classroom setup look like? Ask somebody to take a picture of you in your virtual classroom setting and send it to us. I know Mr. Price has a nice setup. I know Mr. Gray is doing big things in his setup. I'm over here in the bunker on Bean. So listen, we're all doing it. What's your classroom setup look like? I know Miss Andreas has a wicked book stack in behind her every day. I want to know what those books are all about. So teachers, send us your pictures. We are also looking for pictures of you all posing with something you cannot live without. That's right. What is something you can't live without right now? Maybe it's Pop-Tarts. Maybe it's a glass of orange juice. Maybe it's your cat. Maybe it's your diggity doggo. Whatever. Take a picture of yourself with that item or animal that you cannot live without right now and send it to us right here. Whoop, where'd it go? Right there, using that QR code. Your picture will go to a secure account that we only have access to on the yearbook staff. And we'll drop that sucker right in the yearbook and make it happen. It's all from the bunker on Bean. Now, let's get ready for the variety show!
Carver County Public Schools has officially started its transition into the hybrid model. As of last week, we saw grades pre-K through second finally return to the classroom for the first time since March. Now, this is an exciting milestone on our road to recovery, but it also raises a couple concerns, not just with the obvious health risks of our students and staff, but also how exactly is this transition going to work out. I sat down with the superintendent of Carver County Public Schools, Dr. Curry, and Miss Murphy, a teacher from Appeal Elementary School, to get a clearer image on what the classrooms are going to look like with the new regulations. For pre-K through second, what is the hybrid day going to look like for those students?
But they're going to get on the bus, they're going to have a mask. If they don't have a mask, the bus driver will have masks to give to them. There'll be a very specific way that the bus driver has to direct that they get to their seats, all the way to the back in a zigzag pattern, working their way up front, and the next, once that's full, then the others will go in the opposite zigzag pattern. There'll be a specific way for them to exit the bus. So the students will go to their class and they'll begin with just getting introduced to their teacher and their classmates in person, like it would be in September 1st. And they'll kind of start all over again and start the new year. Be, for the most part, having recess. They'll be picking up their lunch and going back to their classroom to eat in their classroom. They'll still have music and phys ed and library and art and the usual kinds of resource teachers. So it'll be about an hour shorter than a normal day in order to allow the teacher a little extra time to plan.
Some of my concerns right now with the virtual learning would be knowing if the kids are engaged because they don't have cameras on. It's hard to tell if they're learning. It's hard to tell if they're there with the microphones off, the cameras off. Being face-to-face, it's going to be a little bit different. And so that's probably one of my biggest concerns. And then bringing kids back into the classroom, one of the other concerns I might have would be, just maintaining that 6-foot distance and reminding kids to keep their masks on and to, be mindful of what they're doing. Classroom set up right now in my 5th grade classroom. I currently have a few special ed students that come in, and when they're not working with an interventionist or a special ed teacher, they come into my classroom, and so they're set up spaced out in the classroom. And during my small group times, I will have some kids virtually, so they're on the screen, and I have them face to face, and we're kind of just making it work. They're learning how to work with each other where your partner might be online, you're sitting here, so they're kind of learning how to juggle that and be flexible with what we're doing. So I think it's important that kids get back into the school, whether it's every other week, however it happens. We need to get them back into that that routine of being in school and of learning.
Of course, all over the country, we are starting to see a surge in COVID-19 cases, especially here in the state of Maryland. We've seen numerous of counties here in Maryland start closing down their schools and canceling their plans on opening in a hybrid model. I asked Dr. Curry if he could give me any comments on this, and he said that they are watching the situation closely, but so far Carver County is looking good, so we should be able to continue with the hybrid model for right now, and I hope so, because I want to go back. So, stay safe, y'all.
A Thanksgiving special. Thanksgiving isn't about the food or the cousins. It's about giving thanks on Thanksgiving and enjoying the holiday. The holiday was first established on Plymouth Rock when the Pilgrims first had Thanksgiving with Indians. My favorite side dishes are mashed potatoes with gravy and green beans with almonds on top. My favorite dessert is apple pie. We are thankful and enjoy each other's company. This year, Thanksgiving will be different. We won't be able to see your friends because of COVID-19, but if we all do our part, social distance, wash hands, and wear face masks, we will be able to get together again. That's all for the Thanksgiving special, but like I said before, it's not about the food or seeing the cousins, but it's about giving thanks on Thanksgiving Day. I'm Nate Carver for Wphs, and I hope you have a safe and fantastic day.
After one of the most divisive elections in U.S. history, most mainstream news outlets, including the Associated Press, the New York Times, and the Wall Street Journal, have all projected that former Vice President Joe Biden, a Democrat, has enough electoral votes to win the presidency. As of early Monday morning, Biden and his vice presidential running mate, U.S. Senator Kamala Harris, had secured 279 electoral votes. President Donald Trump, a Republican, and his running mate, Vice President Mike Pence, had 214. A candidate needs at least 270 electoral votes out of 538 to win the presidency. Harris will be the country's first female vice president, as well as the first Black American and the first Asian American to hold that office. Trump, however, has not yet conceded the election and has filed lawsuits in some states over the counting of ballots. Another thing that made this election like no other in U.S. history is because never before have Americans had to cast their ballots during a pandemic, fearing that going to the polls might expose them to a potentially deadly disease. This meant unprecedented mail-in ballots and early voting. Now that the ballots have been counted, it is time to move forward with our president-elect. When Biden becomes the nation's 46th president on January 20th, he will face enormous challenges. A top priority will be tackling the coronavirus pandemic, which has killed more than 240,000 people in the United States and affected nearly all aspects of daily life over the past 8 months. Another issue is the U.S. economy, which has been weakened by Trump's disregard of the virus. Millions of people have lost their jobs, and more than 100,000 businesses have been permanently closed. Biden says that to save the economy, the U.S. government must provide businesses with more help to reopen safely. He also says that he will hold companies responsible for following safety standards to protect workers. Other key issues for voters included healthcare, immigration, addressing racial injustice, and protecting the environment. Finally, Biden also faces the task of uniting a deeply divided nation. In his acceptance speech on November 7th, he pledged to be the president for all Americans, not just those who voted for him. For all of those who voted for President Trump, I understand the disappointment tonight, Biden said. I've lost a couple of times myself, but now let's give each other a chance. It's time to lower the temperature, see each other again, listen to each other again. He added, "This is the time to heal in America." Congratulations, President-elect Joe Biden. We all hope you can better America.
Who knew something so cute could be so potentially deadly? The mink is an animal closely related to other weasels. You could think of it as a wild cousin of the ferret. However cute they might be, they hide a troubling potential. Every time a human and a mink interact, it is a dice roll for a bigger and deadlier pandemic. COVID-19 is not a virus that is exclusive to humans. Other animals have been documented to have caught the virus, including cats, dogs, tigers, and even minks. Minks are special, however, because you can give corona to minks, but the minks can also give it back to us. This is problematic because of the chance of mutation that could occur between the exchange of the animals. When COVID transfers between two animals, it has a high chance to mutate in order to better fit the new host. The problem is, when the virus transfers back to humans, there's a chance that it could have new negative effects on the human body. If the virus was to mutate in a way that would make it more contagious or even more deadly, it could have catastrophic effects on the world. Already, 214 people have caught COVID related to mink farming in Denmark. Of those 214, 8 people have been confirmed to have unique forms of the coronavirus, according to the WHO. So far, there have been no reported cases of mutations with negative human effects, however. So, what are we going to do about the potential problem? Well, one country has already decided. Denmark, which produces 40% of all mink pelts, has decided to kill every mink in the country. This means that Denmark is killing 17 million minks. For reference, that's more than the population of Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia combined. In addition to this, Denmark is also doing a rapid sharing of the full genome sequence of the mink COVID, and introducing new movement restrictions and other public health measures to the affected areas to reduce further transmission. These will hopefully be enough to solve the problem without having to kill any more minks. On the bright side for us, there are not many mink farms in the US, the closest ones being in Wisconsin. There have also not been any reported mink-related cases in the US, so for now it seems that we are all safe from the mutant minks. I am aware that this story has little effect on us, and is a little random, but I hope that you at least learned a little more.
On November 8th, longtime Jeopardy host Alex Trebek passed away at the age of 80 following a long and public battle with pancreatic cancer. Trebek had hosted Jeopardy from its revival in 1984 to 2020. and in that time, the show grew to become the most popular game show on television, and Trebek became a hallmark of the entertainment industry. Born in 1940 in Canada, Trebek was raised there and started out his entertainment career hosting Canadian game shows and various programs. In 1973, he moved to the United States to further his career. 11 years later, in 1984, he began hosting Jeopardy! A show he hosted for 36 years up until his passing just under 2 weeks ago. Over his lifetime, Trebek did a lot of philanthropy and activism. He did numerous charities, most notably with World Vision Canada and United Service Organizations. He traveled to many developing countries to help the people there, and went to military bases around the world to boost the morale of soldiers. In 1998, he donated 74 acres of land to the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy. A graduate of the University of Ottawa, he donated $10 million over his lifetime to the university. Trebek also, over his lifetime, donated a lot of money to fight homelessness. Alex Trebek was a great man and entertainer who inspired and was beloved by millions of people across the world. It's a great loss to the world that he is no longer with us, but his legacy is one not soon to be forgotten. Rest in peace, Alex Trebek.
What's up, Atchison? As I'm sure you heard in last week's news, Oregon will become the first state to decriminalize possession of small amounts of drugs, including mushrooms, heroin, and cocaine, which is big news, and I'm sure just like I was, you were shocked. How could a state decriminalize drugs? What are they thinking? Obviously, if we were talking about legalization, it'd be a much different conversation we'd be having, but decriminalization is very different, and I'll tell you why. Anthony Johnson, one of the measure's chief petitioners, said, "I think Oregonians made it clear that they support a more humane, effective approach to drug addiction. We took a huge step for funding more treatment and recovery services and for ending racist drug war policies." Proponents said drug addiction is currently treated as a crime, not as a health disorder. With the removal of punishments for nonviolent drug offenses and better access to recovery services, individuals would have a better chance of getting their lives back on track. Criminalization should never be the way for people to get help. It actually does more harm in the long run, and we need to disrupt this relationship between criminalization and treatment. Cassandra Frederique said, "Research consistently shows that resources such as housing and substance abuse treatment are crucial to navigating addiction and are far more effective than arrest." According to Vera Institute of Justice, death from a drug overdose is 129 times more likely in a person recently released from prison compared to people who haven't been incarcerated. Help over punishment is the theory pushing the movement, and it wouldn't be surprised if other states start to adopt this new progressive way of dealing with addiction. Whether or not the program will be successful has yet to be determined, but the research does support the initiative. Hopefully this is the first step to help people who struggle with helping themselves.
Hey, do you drink out of cans? What am I talking about? Of course you do. Everyone does. Whether you drink soda or energy drinks or seltzer water, everyone knows what these are. But did you know that we're having an aluminum can shortage? Probably not, and that's why I'm telling you about it. To be clear, we're having an aluminum can shortage, not aluminum. So don't worry about that, because that's not the issue. What is the issue is that due to COVID-19, people are staying at home, and what they're not doing is going out to restaurants and such to buy their various beverages. Instead, they're buying drinks in aluminum cans. With more people buying canned products, companies are running out of cans because they don't have enough production capacity to produce enough cans for the elevated consumption rate. This might not seem like too big a deal, but I assure you for some people, it is. The reason is that some companies like Coca-Cola are temporarily not canning some of their brands, like Barq's Root Beer, because they're focusing mostly on their main product. I know this news might be distressing, but it's not world-ending. Hopefully, when the world gets back to normal, the can shortage will end and we can get back to the way things were. But until then, who knows what brands might be taken off the shelf for a little while.
It has now been 250 days since March 13th, the day that we were let out of school due to COVID-19. It's a lot of days. It's a lot of time to be out of school, and for most of us, it's the longest we've ever been out of school since we were born. Luckily, they have just switched our schedule. Whoop whoop, maybe? Is it really going to change anything? Let's find out. So what changed? That means on Mondays and Wednesdays, we have first through fourth period, and on Tuesdays and Thursdays, it's 6th through 8th. That means they also changed our asynchronous day from Wednesday to Friday. Now, is that going to be a positive or a negative? Let's break it down. What I liked about the original schedule is that we had that break in the middle. But that was more of me just wanting to have a break, because to me it felt like every other day was Friday. You'd wake up on Monday, and you're like, hey, tomorrow's Friday, we have off Wednesday. Which is a bad mindset. But with the mindset of having every other day is Friday, means you put in the effort like it's Friday. Everybody slacks a little bit on Friday. It's Friday. It's the weekend. So if every day is Friday, are you going to slack every day? I feel like that's kind of what happened with the old schedule. But with this new schedule, Friday is now our asynchronous day, which means we have technically a 3-day weekend. But is that really going to be good? Because maybe this 3-day weekend is going to end up being like our summer break, where we go to this 3-day weekend, and by the time we get back on Monday, we're going to be lost. We've forgotten what we're supposed to learn last week, and we'll be screwed. But as a responsible student, I would choose this schedule over our earlier one. I believe our earlier one kind of made school less serious, having that break in the middle, and this one puts our schoolwork into 4 days, one after another. We're scheduled out, all of our classes are in order like they would be in school. So I think it's better to actually stay on track like this schedule will keep us. But who knows? School really will never be school until we're back in person, so we're kind of stuck in the middle until then. Otherwise, enjoy your first 3-day weekend. I know I will.
Hi guys, welcome back to a new episode of WPHS. I'm Haley, and I am going to be telling you about my experience at Jurassic Quest. Basically what it is it's a drive-through, and we get to see different dinosaurs, and we get to learn factual information about what the dinosaurs are. Me and my cousin and my uncle and my dad got to experience what the Jurassic Quest is all about. And so if you guys want to go, you guys can go. I'll put the flyer up there, so check it out. It's very fun, so I'm gonna give you a little sneak peek of what it actually includes, and yeah.
Last week on Wednesday, November 11th, we were off because of Veterans Day, a day where the people in the United States honors their veterans for their service. We salute the service of all veterans, and we keep in our thoughts and prayers the fallen, the missing, and those who right now are serving in harm's way. We also remember that honoring those who serve isn't just about what we say today. It's about how we honor our veterans every day of the year. To all veterans of all branches, thank you for your sacrifice, your bravery, and the example you set for us. In short, thank you for your service. To all those who have served and those who continue to serve, Happy Veterans Day.